Hey,
Well, there you go, right? We're already through August. Now we're into September, right? First time we've met in September. So we're 3 weeks in. I'll go over basically a review of everything that we've covered, but today we'll focus on 4 things. So we'll go in depth on the factors of production and categorize those for you a little bit better. I want to take a look at the idea of scarcity and opportunity cost as well. So we need to go over that. There is an instance in the items that you're submitting. I want to show you one thing that may not have noticed or been apparent to you as well. And then for your new material, we'll talk about a production possibilities curve and what that means as well. So you want to open up your Canvas homepage so that I can show you something related to your assignments in terms of a little bit of confusion, I think, for some. All right, so open your Canvas homepage up. Okay, so the first thing that I want to show you quickly is a bit of confusion about the assignments, the due dates. On the right-hand side, when you log in and you go into the course, there should be an update of things that you need to do. And as you do them, those will clear. So if you submitted this, it would clear off of your to-do list, right? And I leave that up. But one of the things that you want to be aware of is if you come over to assignments, all of the assignments that you have done, it'll have overdue assignments if you haven't turned them in. It'll have upcoming assignments. You can see what we'll do today in class and what you'll do before we meet next week. And then these are past assignments, probably that you have turned in. All right. So a couple of things to notice. The due date here, so the first week, right, the 17th, the second week was the 24th, this week was the 31st. You can see the due dates here, but also notice that you have available until. So all of these items here are going to be available until that date. So even the things that we did the first week of school, it shows you that it's available till Friday, September 4th. The things that we're doing today, right, due date, availability. So there's nothing that's been done. There's nothing that's been done that is not still available. So if you've had trouble submitting, we're not able to finish, that is still available through Canvas. All you do is click on that and go from there. So you should be able to access anything that we've done the 3 weeks, and it's still available to you. You can still turn it in. Your grade in Canvas and Aries is generally updated every Friday and Monday. As I get notifications, especially if you did it through Edmentum, I will update those probably every 24 hours. So once I grade them in Edmentum, check your score and go through what you did, it'll take 24 hours to update to Canvas. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, so second thing then, that we'll get to. And I've tried to keep this consistent for you. When you go to your homepage, and whether you click on Learning Modules here, which is where your assignment's at, or you click here, I have tried to keep it consistent. Now, there's no way for me to change it, right? The newest thing is on the bottom. I can't put the newest thing on the top. It's going to go in chronological order. But everything that you need to do for a week is in a module, right? And I've put it in a module. So week 1, this is your module. Week 2, this is what we did last week, right? Scarcity, opportunity cost, economic systems you were supposed to do before we met today. It's still open if you have not completed that. And I can check real quick just based on where we're at. Let's see, period 2. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, probably about 12 in each of those assignments there that has not been turned in. So you want to make sure that you turn that in. It's still open for you. But the way that I've done this is hopefully simplified for you in this learning management system. If you click on your week's overview, it will give you all of the things that you need to do. So you can see we're going to talk about notes, specifically scarcity, opportunity cost. Be more specific about the factors of production, give you some examples there. I'm going to watch a short clip that sort of summarizes everything that we've done in Unit 1. We're going to do a group activity with the factors of production and categorizing those in specific examples of items that I give you into 2 groups. We'll talk about the importance of a production possibilities curve. And then you want to complete the unit on market economies, and I'll show you that there. When you're within the module, all you have to do is click next, and that will come up. So I'm going to bring up the factors of production and go over this for you in a more specific manner. Let me enlarge that so it's going to be easier to see on your screen. Okay. So a couple of things, right? We've talked about the 4 factors of production. And so just in a basic sense, right, what we want to understand and what we've done so far is the biggest problem that we have in economics is this idea of scarcity. And so the one thing that you understand, if you can think of the most abundant resource on the face of the earth, right? Probably the most abundant resource on the face of the earth is water, right? The earth is covered by more than 70% of water. But if we had the capability and we had the time, we could quantify how many gallons of water are on the surface of the earth at this very moment. And so even the most abundant resource in the world is scarce. And because we have scarcity, we have to make choices. And those choices generally are an either or choice. So for those of you that came to class via this Zoom meeting today, you made a choice. You made a choice instead of sleeping in, going to your friends, maybe going to the beach, because your time, right, and your being is a scarce resource. You had to make a choice. You can't be in 2 places at once. So how a society, and that's why I had you look at economic systems, how a society answers those questions of what are we going to produce with our limited resources? How are we going to produce goods and services with those limited resources? And who's going to get those goods and services with the limited resources we have is an economic system. And so probably the most difficult of the 4 factors of production is going to be capital. And so that's why I put that at the top. Capital goods, right? The capital factor of production is any man-made object used for the production of another good or providing a service, right? So this would include tools, factories, machines. If you were a farmer, a tractor is an example of a capital good because it helps you till and prepare your field. If you are a butcher at a grocery store, An example of a capital good would be the knives you use. Those knives are capital goods. They are capital because they're finished goods and services that help you prepare another finished good or service, right? Breaking down a maybe side of meat. So I put that first there because that's generally the hardest one to comprehend. Labor. Labor has two separate groups basically. So labor is either human or it is machine, artificial intelligence, what have you. So labor has two different forms. And it's basically the work that is put in to make a good or provide a service. Land. Land is basically any natural resource, right? Productive resources that are provided by nature. Land, air, water, timber, lumber from forests, coal, iron, other minerals that you can mine, crude oil from the ground. Those are all examples of land. And then finally is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is this idea that someone with business knowledge or money who puts a plan together, takes a risk, opens a business, the basically intellectual side of producing a good or service. And when we talk about factors of production are just illustrating to us what goes into making goods or providing services. Services would be like barbershops and hair salons opening back up, massages, a plumber provides a service, an electrician provides a service. They are not really tangible goods, right? Like if you go into a store, you can buy maybe a hammer, that's a tangible good. But if you hire a construction company to do an addition to your dwelling, they are providing a service. You can't really hold that in your hands. Any questions on factors of production? Okay. So real quick, what I want to do is I want to show you a short clip. It's going to summarize what we've talked about in terms of scarcity and opportunity cost, talk a little bit about factors of production, and then it's going to get into the new item today that we need to talk about, which is production possibilities curve. So I'm going to show you this clip real quick, and then we'll do a group activity on categorizing the factors of production together. So once again, in your module, right, if you're in your module, all we're doing is clicking next to get to the next item. And I'll bring this up. You can turn your volume up. I'll have closed captioned on in case it lags a little bit.
Crash Course Economics. Stan?
Oh, awesome. Well, anyways, we're making our Crash Course Economics series at the YouTube space in lovely Los Angeles, California, because Mr. Clipper and I are both from Southern California.
Who are these no names? Where are the Green Brothers?
Hold on just a second. I don't think it's going very well. Is it lagging a little bit? Yeah, okay. So let me do this. Let me see if I can go faster. Maybe go this way.
There's a power to genius. There's a method behind magic.
The value of the next best alternative.
All right, we'll try it this one way to see if it goes better. I'll be able to see if it shows it in the, generally that part right there, if it's just talking when it's playing, it's generally a little bit faster. If not, closed caption is on.
Host of Crash Course Economics. Stan?
Oh, awesome. Well, anyways, we're making our Crash Course Economics series at the YouTube space in lovely Los Angeles, California, because Mr. Clifford and I are both from Southern California.
Who are these no names? Where are the Green Brothers? If there aren't any Greens, I'm unsubscribing. How can you unsubscribe? What is this, some kind of a moving newspaper? Did we just get heckled by Muppets? Hey guys, listen, don't feel bad about not being green, okay? That's crazy. Hi guys, listen, being green is great and everything, but being Adrian and Mr. Clifford, well, that's great too. And in fact, you know, guys, it's not easy being green. I think we could sing a song about that. We can't afford a lesson agreement for that song. Okay, well, in that case, why don't you guys just introduce yourself? I'm Mr. Clifford. I'm a high school economics teacher and YouTuber. I'm going to focus on teaching you the theories and graphs of economics. You know, the textbook stuff.
And I'm Adrian. I'm a senior reporter for the public radio show Marketplace, and I'm going to focus on showing you the real world applications of economics. The good stuff, the really fun stuff.
Hey, we're both fun. We're definitely not going to teach economics like this. Welcome to Crash Course Economics. I am thrilled to be teaching you this fascinating subject. That's why people hate economics in high school and college.
And it's stellar knowledge we have that. The most important question in economics is, where's John Green? I mean, everyone knows when you're on math and economics, the Alabama State. Well, John Green is hosting economics. Let's find out.
Basics. What is economics? Well, my easier term than economics is economics is not the study of math getting rich. Although I'm studying economics, we'll talk about that. Economics is not the study of the stock market. It's just economics is not primarily about many bow ties forecasting what will happen in a given market or the overall economy. Actually, a few economists do that. That's not the main focus of economics. Economics is the study of people and choices. The famous economist Alfred Marshall defined economics as the study of man and woman in the ordinary business of life. It determines how he gets his income and how he uses it. Thus, on one side, they study of wealth, and the other, on the fourth side, of the other, study of man.
So let's talk a minute about what else is going on. Despite what they might think, economics is not boring at all. Videos of kittens or skaters falling on their face or Charlie biting fingers. Oh! The cost of watching this video is the video you're not watching. The value of the next best alternatives. Economists call this your opportunity cost. If you're still watching this video, it means that you believe it's the best use of your time, or you wouldn't be watching it. But what if I'm watching this at school? You ask, what if I'm forced to watch this? Well, you weren't forced to go to school. You could ditch. You could drop out. You could move to a country that doesn't have compulsory education. But the cost would outweigh the benefit. Even if you are in school, you're not forced to watch the video. You could close your eyes or put your head down. You're just going to cry your eyes open. Look how creepy. Now let's talk about why John Green isn't here teaching this course. John is an entrepreneur. He writes books, runs the FTBA, Law Brothers, Fundamental Laws, and creates movies. But he can't do everything he wants to do. He looked at the benefits and costs of his choices, and in the end, decided to spend more time writing books. So Mr. Clifford and I are jumping in to teach you economics.
And believe it or not, we just come to two most important assumptions in all of economics. First, the idea of scarcity. People have unlimited wants but limited resources. And second, everything is cost. And if these assumptions are true, then we need a way to analyze our choices and get the most from limited resources. And that's economics.
Wait, but let's go back to the idea of benefits and costs. About 31,000 people a year die in car accidents in the U.S. Is there a reason for there will never be another traffic fatality? Special the roads and force everyone around. That would solve the car crash problem. There would decrease the number of people convicted of kerosene today. And this is half of that. This is building fire. The opportunity cost of those aircraft carriers hospitals, schools, and roads. So is not spending too much on the military? Should the U.S. focus on making guns or better? That is weapons or consumer goods.
And that's the key word here is both. We can't use an infinite amount of weapons and consumer goods because we don't have an infinite amount of workers and farming factories and materials. Scarcity means we must make a choice. The American president speech about global military building. Every gun that is made, every Russian bomb, every rocket fired signifies in front sense affect the those who are not fed, those who are cold and are not fed. This war in arms is not spending money alone, it's spending the sweat of its laborers, the genius of its scientists, the hopes of its children. And it's just
Okay, so that's a pretty good overview. If it was too hard to view, it is in your module. You can click on that and watch that. The first 6 minutes, probably the last 4 of the 6 minutes we had, is a good overview of the first unit. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at factors of production. Now you're going to submit this assignment. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. If you want, when you're in your group, you could go to text entry, and on the left-hand column, if you're group 1, you're going to identify and categorize these items into which factor of production. And you could type that down there. If you're group 2, right, you could type your list also down here while you do it as a group. And then when we come out of our breakout rooms, group 1 is going to categorize for everybody their list. Group 2, you'll categorize your list. And then as the other group categorizes, you could have, say, column 1, right? And then if you want, down here at the bottom, you can have another column and column 2. So that as we come back together and do this, you can submit this together, right, at the same time. Each of you are going to submit it individually anyway, so you get your points, and you'll be set. All right, so that may be the easiest way to do that. But for example, you need to be able to categorize factors of production. And so let's say we take on this side salt and pepper. All right, pepper is ground peppercorn basically. And that is something that comes from the land. Pepper used in a restaurant, right, could be a capital good. Pepper could also be part of labor, right? In terms of, say, salt for curing meat. So it depends on how this is used. So this one you could categorize as all 3. Now, if you want, we'll take the other side and I'll give group 1 here. Let's take a look at water. Water is obviously, right, best example is land. 70% or more of your surface is covered by water. That would be a natural resources. Water, back in the hydroelectric days, would be labor, right? Turning a turbine, create electricity. Water, boiling to cook pasta might be an example of capital. So it depends on the circumstance, but some of these might be more than one factor of production. So as I said, what you're going to do is you're going to be as evenly divided as possible. Group 1, I'll come into your room. You are going to categorize these 12. Group 2, you're going to categorize this column. Now, as I said, if you want in your breakout rooms, okay, you can open another tab and you can submit or type as you go along. So if you are in your breakout room, you can open another tab. You could go to factors of production. You could go down here to text entry. Oh, I'm not in student view, sorry. Hold on just a second. go down here to text entry, and you could type in as you go along, right? So maybe it's land and capital. And then when your group comes up with the next one, you can go there. So you should have all 12 categorized. Then when we come back as a total group, each group will go over what they put for each one. When the other group is presenting, you can create another column and type that along, and then you'll be able to submit that right away, and you'll be ahead of the game. Any questions on that? All right, so you're going to have pretty even breakout rooms. One will have 7, one will have 6. You'll have 6 minutes to categorize your 12. Right now, Aubrey, Bryce, Christian, Gwen, Liliana, Melinda, and Micah, you're going to have the left-hand side. So you will have the left-hand column here. Aiden, Damien, Dom, Enrique, Jose, and Luke, you'll have the right-hand side. So breakout room 1, Aubrey, Bryce, Christian, Gwen, Liliana, Melinda, Micah. You'll categorize the 6 on the left, or excuse me, the 12 on the left. You'll have 6 minutes to do it. The 12 on the right will be Aiden, Damien, Dom, Enrique, Jose, and Luke. You should join automatically.
So we got the first column.
Yes, you have the first
the-
column, the one on the left. So you have the list
Alrighty.
that says candles all the way down to waiters.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome. So you guys have the list on the right. So you guys are from carpet all the way down to tables. Carpet all the way down to tables.
Okay, and then when we just list, like, we would put like carpet dash if it goes in land, or if it goes in land and capital.
Well, yeah, no, you don't even have to retype carpet. Just do the 12 in a row because I know what you're referring to. So for carpet, right? Carpet, you know, the carpet behind me here, right? That's part of the classroom. So that would be a finished good. Finished good is capital.
Capital.
So just
Okay.
put capital, hit enter a couple of times, leave a space, and put in the next one. All right, I think we got everybody back. Awesome. Okay, so group one, I'll type this on. If you were in group two, so group one is going to tell us how they categorize this. If you're in group two, this is when you will want to open up another tab. So you should be able to hit escape or click the exit full screen button on this and open your tab and be able to submit, right? So open your tab and be able to submit. I would go down to text entry and you can start typing in. So if you're group two, you'll want to type while group one goes over what they thought it was. And then when group two presents group one, you'll want to open yours up and type that in as well. And then you guys will be all set and you can hit submit. And half of your work for the week will already be done for you. All right, any questions on that? So what I'll do is I'll move this up. Let me get a text box ready. Okay, so I'll put the text box right here. All right, group one, what did you guys have for candles? Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship.
Land and labor.
Land and labor, very good. What about cooks?
Labor and capital.
Labor and capital. Well, you guys aren't fooling around. What about food?
Land and labor.
Land, labor.
Yes.
Could food also be capital?
Yes.
Yes, good. Yeah, you guys are on it. Salt and pepper, we went over together. So that was land, labor, capital.
Yes.
Electricity, what did you guys have?
Labor and capital.
Labor and capital is good. Electricity generally doesn't come from the land unless you were talking about a thunder or a lightning strike. Gasoline is a trick one. What did you guys have?
I put land, labor, capital.
Okay. So gasoline can be capital, right? Because it's a finished good or service. It could be labor because it does work with it does work in an engine, right? As part of making, say, an engine and moving parts go along. Gasoline cannot be land though. So it would just be capital and labor. Gasoline is not land because gasoline is basically crude oil refined into gasoline. So you don't drill gasoline out of the ground. An owner of a store.
Entrepreneurship.
Very good. Entrepreneurship. If they help out at all in the store, they would be labor. And then also they could be capital if you wanted to put that. Hostess, or no, excuse me, furniture. I skipped one. Furniture.
Land and labor.
Land and labor is good. What about a hostess?
Labor and capital.
Labor and capital. Delivery van, say like for Albertsons.
I put labor and capital as well.
Labor and capital as well would be good. And then the last one is a waiter or waitress at a restaurant.
Labor and capital as well.
Labor and capital as well. So that's a great list. If you want, you can take a picture of that with your phone, or you can screenshot that and save it to a location. But if you're in group 2, that's what you wanted to be typing down. And in a second, I'll move it over here to the side, and then we'll go over group 2s. All right, so let me move that to the side real quick. So let me draw a text box on this side. Group 2, you'll present to group 1. Okay, so group 2, carpets.
Wait, Mr. Gart, we did ours a little bit different. We put like land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship, and then we kind of just put whatever words fit in there.
Okay.
So for like land, we put rent,
Okay.
half acre of land.
All right, hold on. So land, you had rent, which is right. Rent is always going to be a payment for land for everybody. So that's important. You got that right. Rent is always going to be a payment for land. You put in half an acre
Yes.
of land. Okay. What else do you have in land?
Water.
Water. Okay. Is that it for that group?
That was it for land, yeah.
Okay, no problem. So then
For-
you want to do labor next, sir?
Yes, that's what we had, labor.
Okay, go ahead.
For labor, we did ovens.
Ovens, very good. Yes.
Then we did carpet.
Okay. And how is labor, or how is carpet labor?
Like construction, when you're laying carpet and installing it, like that's work, you know, when you install carpet, that's labor, right?
The people laying the carpet would be labor, but I would say carpet is probably better
Just being in.
as capital,
Oh, okay.
but that's okay.
And then after that, we put cashier.
Cashier, okay.
We did dishes, but if that's the same thing as carpet,
Oh.
it's like washing dishes, like a busser.
Well, no, but like dishes on a plate or a serving dish could be labor. It could do the work for you.
Okay.
So that's correct.
And we did driver
Driver, very good.
and manager.
And manager. Okay. Awesome.
Then,
Go ahead.
yeah, then we did for capital,
Okay.
we did table,
All right.
cash register,
Okay.
carpet,
Carpet,
utensils,
utensils, good.
and dishes.
Dishes. Okay. And then on entrepreneurship, or that's really the same thing as business knowledge. Oops, sorry. All right, what'd you have for that?
For that, we did manager,
Okay.
half acre of land,
Okay.
And rent.
And rent. Okay. So entrepreneur or the owner of the business would be available and responsible for the rent, but rent is always going to be a payment for land
Okay.
on that. So that's okay. But that's one that you had, your group had one trick, one, too.
Okay.
Anyway, so I'm going to put that up. All right. And then you guys can take a screenshot of that, or group one can finish typing that. Let me put that down so that there, that's better. That way you can see it. So you can take a picture of that with your phone. You can continue typing that in, or you can take a screenshot. I'll leave that up for about 35 more seconds.
And we're able to turn it in right now, correct?
Oh, yes. Yeah. As soon as you're done, turn it right in. That's why we did it this way, so that you would have it pretty easy. Anybody need more time, or can I move on? Okay. All right. So once you hit submit, mine's going to say resubmit, but once you hit submit, you'll be set. And then if you notice down on the bottom of that, you can hit next. And I want to go over production possibilities curve. So the video was a little choppy, but I want to go over this and what this means with you. Let me get a bigger screen up for you. All right, so as the video talked about, and we've talked about this before, every society has a decision that they have to make. All right, every society has a decision that they have to make. And they have to decide what they're going to produce, how they're going to produce it, for whom they're going to produce it, with the limited resources that they have. And one of the things that we'll do throughout the semester is we're going to illustrate some economic ideas, predictions, philosophies, theories based on pictures. And the most common picture that we're going to have is a curve. And so let me show you here what this really is. So even though we're only looking at 1/4 of this, what we're really looking at is going to be something that you have seen before, which is a math curve. That's all it is. So we get into demand, and we get into supply, and we start talking about different types of curves. These curves here that we're going to discuss and utilize in economics is simply a math curve. And so from that, most all of you know, right, this point here is called the origin, and the value of the origin is what?
0, 0.
0, 0. Perfect. All right. Value is 0, 0. All right. And so all a production possibilities curve tells us is a comparison of our choice when we are utilizing our resources. And so at the last part of that video clip, they talked about Eisenhower. And Eisenhower, if you remember, was a pretty famous general. And after World War II, both the Democrats and the Republicans tried to get him to run for president with their party. And being a military general, he always sort of shied away from declaring a political party or involving himself in politics. But finally, right, he was convinced to run for president. And he used to talk about how we as a country choose to allocate our resources really comes down to one of two things. Do we do it domestically, in case we would call this butter, or do we do it in defense, right? More tanks, more aircraft carriers, more bombs, that would be guns. And so there was a debate in the 50s about, do we spend our money on military defense for this country, or do we spend it on domestic programs? And so that's how guns versus butter came about. There are three areas on this curve that are going to be of use to you. Area 1, Area 2, and Area 3. Area 1 is inside the curve, right? So we know that because this point here is 0, 0, point A is closer to 0 than point D. So point D has more of a value than A. Point X is farther away than D or A. So point X has the greatest value. So on this production possibilities curve, a couple of things that we know. Area 1, is Area 1 going to be equal to, less than, or more than 100%?
Less than?
Less than, very good. Less than 100%. With the wrong symbol, my apologies. Okay, so that curve, right? This point A inside the curve is an area of underutilization, using fewer resources than available at the time. That means the curve BDC is called the frontier. Now, would the frontier be equal to 100%, less than 100%, or more than 100%?
Equal.
Equal, very good. A country or society is using all of their resources. Area 3, labeled future production possibilities. Outside of the curve, would that be equal to 100%, less than 100%, or greater than 100%?
Greater than.
Greater than, thank you. So there's three areas, all right, on this production possibilities curve. And all we're doing is we're talking about what do we have, okay, in each of these instances. And so area A, anywhere inside of this curve, it doesn't matter where the point would be, is an area that we call underutilization. We are using fewer resources than available. Anywhere along this curve by BDC, anywhere along this curve, we know that it is equal to 100%. We may not be producing all guns, we may not be producing all butter, but we're taking all of our resources and producing a combination of both, right? If we had a point over here that was labeled E, we would be using all of our resources for guns and 0 for butter. If we had a point over here that was labeled F, we would have all of our resources producing butter, but not guns. And then point X, how do we get to more than 100%? What's the only way we could get to more than 100%?
If you're like, oh,
Both of you are
Right.
correct, right? You could have a technological discovery in which you can do things more efficiently, right? Creating more resources. You could have a population boom in which you have more people doing work. More people doing work can create more items. Or, right, you could find more resources. Newly discovered pocket of crude oil, newly discovered gold somewhere, a new mine that you found diamonds in. So that is all a production possibilities curve tells us. And if we wanted to put this even in, say, your life, and let's just say today, let's create a curve talking about today. So I'm going to create the y-axis, the x-axis. Once again, this point down here is the origin. That is 0, 0. All right, somebody give me, if you had your choice today, right now, where would you go eat lunch?
Jocko Steakhouse.
Jocko Steakhouse, that's a great choice. Okay. Somebody else, if you had your choice, where would you go?
Orchid Burger.
Orchid Burger, there you go. Competing. My boys love Orchid Burger. Little Orchid Burger, you know what's. Okay. All right. So let's get the select tool. Sorry. Now, if see the best way to draw this. Let's say that we had $20 in our pocket. All right. Let's say we had $20 in our pocket. If we go to Jocko's and spend all of our money at Jocko's, right, that would be $20 at Jocko's, and that would be zero, right, because this is the origin. That would be zero at Orchid Burger. If we went to Orchid Burger and spent all of the $20 that we had, that would be $20 at Orchid Burger, but zero at Jocko's. If we went somewhere in between, so let me do a line. Let's say that that's a 50-50 line there. So I'm going to put a dot there. It's almost like drawing, a little paint program, right? All right. If we go, say, here to a point, maybe we are spending $10 at Jocko's and $10 at Orchid Burger. We couldn't decide, right? So maybe that's 10 and 10. If we go to Orchid Burger and we don't spend all of our money, or we go to Jocko's and we don't spend all of our money, we would have a point in there. So once again, if we name this point A, if we name this B, if we name this D, and this C, right? Area 1 equal to, less than, or greater than 100% inside the curve.
Less than.
Less than. And the easy way to remember that is it's closest to 0. Right? This curve labeled BDC is equal to, less than, or greater than 100%.
Equal.
Equal. And then if we had a point out here and we labeled it X, let's say that your grandfather sent you money for your birthday, another 20 bucks, right? So now you have 40 in your wallet. That means that out here you would be greater than 100%. Does that make sense? So that is all a production possibilities curve is. All it does is talk to us about efficiency. If we're using all of our society's resources, we're at the curve. It talks about the cost. The cost of producing a barrel of butter may be a box of guns. Right? Scarcity, econ, we always have to make a choice. All right? So then all you need to do is this market economy, our system, as I said, in this country is a market economy. And so between now and next Wednesday, you'll do that section in Edmentum. So right below the last section you did, you go to period 2. Go to curriculum. Right below that is the market economy. So right below economic systems, which is the last one you did, you can do the tutorial here. And give you all the answers, and then the assessment is here. You can run through that. Make sure when you get to that end, right, that it says you got to the end of the test, you've submitted and saved, and you are set. You should get a notification like that. Remember that everything that you have done, it doesn't matter what it is still available. So if you go to assignments on your Canvas page, everything here you can see is still available and open if you haven't finished it, right? So that's what you need to do before next Wednesday. Don't forget that Monday is a holiday, so there'll be no office hours that day. And then, as I said, next week we will do a review game together online, and we will show you how to get into your assessment for Unit 1 test. And I will stay here if you've got any questions. Otherwise, you can log off. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the extra day, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you, Mr. Gerard.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Thank you.
So pretty much we're just what are we doing today?
So you should turn in the factors of production that we did together.
Which I did.
Okay. And then, so the only other thing that you need to do is the market economies.
The stuff due on the 4th.
Yes. No, that one's due on the 8th.
Oh, so I think I finished both of the things on the what's it called, on that one app when you do all your homework.
Well, yeah, Plato. So I can check that right now. So hold on,
Yeah.
let me check and see if I see what you've got here.
So on Edmonton, we only do market economies and we skip supply and demand, or?
Yeah, you're not doing supply and demand right now. You're just doing market economies.
Oh, okay.
Economic systems.
Okay. Okay.
That is
Thank you.
correct. You're welcome.
And to log into it, we use our school email with the password, correct?
Yeah, use your school email address. Your complete school email address is the username, and then the password should be the same one that you use to get into your school email. And if
Okay, and then the economic systems, I got a low score. Can I do
Yeah.
it again? Or-
Hold on just a second. I'll unlock it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Damien, I see both of yours, so I'll update that and make sure it's in your grades.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
So, I'll see you next week.
Yes, take care, buddy.
Yeah, have a good week.
Thank you.
Peace.
Okay, so. All right, Liliana, let me unlock yours. It'll only take a second.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Everything going okay?
Yeah, I have work. I have work at 4. I don't want to go.
Oh, that's generally not good.
Yeah, but that's whatever. I don't have anything to do anymore, so that's the only thing I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, yours is showing unlocked. You should be able to get back in.
For the economic systems?
Yep.
And do I just have to do the test, or what do I have to do to get up my grade?
Well, yeah, if you want to go, did you do the tutorial already?
I believe I did. Let me double check.
Okay, yeah. So if you did the tutorial already, it gives you all the answers to the assessment. So you wouldn't have to do it again. But
Yeah, I already finished the tutorial. And
okay,
then,
yeah. So the scarcity and opportunity cost and the economic systems are still open. So you should be set.
let me show you. Because as soon as it's complete, and then it has the star. So I don't know what else to do.
Okay, go back again. Let me see real quick. Can you move it to the left a little bit? Let's see. Economic systems tutorial. Yeah, so you just have to do the, go to the right again. Progress says, and what does it say for the star is the key and the legend there? What does it say? Mastered?
Mastered, yeah.
Oh, I don't know why yours isn't updating. Okay, and so that's economic systems, right?
Yes.
Okay, so here, I can just put your grade in right now from here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, perfect. No, you had, yeah, it's your score showed up.
4, right? Or what was it?
No, that would be 10 out of 10, master.
Okay. Because I think on Aries it was a 4. I'm not sure though.
Okay, so that may have not updated correctly from the before. And then what does it show on your scarcity and opportunity cost? Does it say mastered again?
Can
you show me that?
Yeah, let me go on that one as well. Yeah, that one says mastered as well.
Okay, so let me change that in Aries too. Yeah, because it was 8 out of 10, so that's 10 out of 10. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
You're all updated.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet. Have a great day.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.